How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Software Inc. and welcome back to Nerdrosoft. At the end of the last episode, I floated the idea of another Software Inc. series on the channel at some point later this year, and to say that you were interested would be a bit of an understatement. So I think it's fair to say we're going to be doing more than one Software Inc. series this year. Now, with that out of the way, which I think is good news as far as I'm concerned, I think a second series this year is a very good idea. That means season 17 is going to be a thing in about 6 months' time, or maybe a little bit more. I don't know when it's going to be, but it will be this year. That's anyway. We're moving on from that. I want to get to work on another expansion for Dungeons Eternal because it makes ridiculous money. It is on track to being the most profitable thing that this company has ever done, which is incredible news. $150 million from add-ons alone is incredible news, and I think even before this gets done, we might hit $1 billion in bank balance with Nerdrosoft. But the reason I want to start working on this instantly is because I'm trying my best to sort of keep this release pattern that we have going on. So we did March of last year, then October. We did March of this year. So I'm going to aim for October 2005 and then March 2006 and so on and so forth. Hopefully that works. Hopefully that works out. Hopefully that ends up being a good thing. But if we go to good old Dungeons Eternal and we start making an expansion pack, there was a comment from, it's over here somewhere, just Thinus or Thinus, I'm so sorry, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, who said, what about an expansion called Master of Coin, in which you establish the in-game economy system? Now, this being an MMO, I would imagine that there is probably some kind of economy system in here already, but I like the idea of the Master of Coin, or the Coin Master, or the Coin Keeper is kind of my thinking. This could be sort of a revamp to the economy. It introduces kind of like when the Grand Exchange was brought to RuneScape many, many years ago. So this will be the introduction of the Coin Keeper, or maybe the Coin Keepers. Maybe plural. We'll have multiple, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do Coin Keepers, which I guess is technically a new storyline. They will probably come with some new 2D assets because that'll be like the icons for the items. Little bit of new dialogue seems like a good idea. A little bit of work to the map seems like a good idea. And you know what? A little bit of music seems like a fun idea. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're maxing everything out here. The good news with this is because we're not doing anything 3D, we don't need the 3D team to be involved. So we can go in and take them out of this particular project. We can make sure that our 2D editor is Palette Pro 2. And I guess Coin Keepers is going to be the fourth expansion for Dungeons Eternal. So we'll get this developed. We'll hopefully not take too long to do this. I think what we're going to do is just instantly, we are going to say October. So we're going to start marketing this instantly. As soon as we start working on it one way or another, it's got 205,000 followers already, which is ridiculous. Let's start working on a press release. We're not sending out a press build because we can't. We will start hyping this as well. And this might be a terrible idea. It might be too early to start marketing this thing, but I'm wanting that October release date, so I figure we might as well. So while they go ahead and work on that, I want to come over to these buildings, and what I'd like to do is get a little bit lazy, if I'm completely honest with you. In fact, I might go so far as just selecting this entire building floor, except for that part, and just copy both of these buildings. And basically, well, my thinking is I want to get another team in here. I want to start working on another game because I've had a bit of an idea for something I think could be really fun. I don't need 2 more of these buildings, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to have 2 more of these buildings, I guess, is kind of how I'm looking at it. So we would copy these, we would place them right about there, and that does look cool. I do like that we have like this little alternating heights thing going on here. I really enjoy that. What I'd also like to do though is get a door on this building over here before we go too much further. So what we can do is basically this door here, we'll save that style. we can put a door over here with the same style. And then I guess we need to delete the grassy part of all of it. In fact, no, I probably don't need to delete the grass. I think I can do this, and I think I can do that. And then if we merge these, we get something that looks pretty decent. We can do our little gateways here to get rid of the fence parts that we don't necessarily need. And unfortunately, what this will probably do is encourage people to cross from one building to the other to get out of here. I'm not really too concerned about that. I think honestly, this is probably fine. But I think what I will do is select all of the furniture in here and select all of the furniture in here. I want to select all of it, please. And I want to delete all of it because I don't want these stores to be exactly the same. So we're probably going to go one step further and merge these two rooms into one so that they're just empty spaces. And then for the development spaces, I think I am going to get a little bit lazy with these, and I think I am going to keep them pretty much identical because we're going to have a lot of teams in here. We're going to be doing a lot of things in here. And by the way, I'm thinking one of these spaces down here, we're probably going to do an expanded accounting team is going to be necessary. I think that's step one. And then maybe the other one could be network research. So we have like we could try and make it look more like, less like an Apple store and more like a typical kind of phone retailer kind of thing where you go in and they've got like a desk and it's like, come over, you idiot. Let me see your phone, you dum-dum. And we'll do that kind of thing. Anyway, that's something we can figure out a little bit later on. I think what I would like to do is just grab all of the carpets in these spaces. And for this side, what we'll do is go for something like purpley sort of pink or whatever it happens to be. We'll go for this color right about here and hope for the best with it. We'll do the same thing with all of the chairs. And then for the team that's going to be working in there, we can go ahead and just copy our FPS dev team. So we'll not worry too much about the name. We'll just go ahead and do this. Instead of FPS, I want to say it's going to be a sports development team is my thinking. And I want it to be somewhat Dungeons themed. I kind of have an idea for what we can do with this one. So there's a game that exists in real life. I've never actually played it, but it's called Blood Bowl, I think. I think there's 3 of them, and it's basically like American football played by like goblins and orcs and stuff like that. So let me pause before we start losing followers on Coin Keepers. Basically, I want to make my own version of that. So the sports dev team will be doing our own version of Blood Bowl. It's going to be like American football, except it's going to be fantastical creatures from the Dungeons franchise. And what I'm thinking of for this is it's obviously a video game. It's obviously a sports game. It's going to be a new framework, which in this case we can call Referee, which I think is a good name for a sports games framework. The product name is going to be Goblin Ball, because I think that's funny. It could be Gnome Ball. No, Gnome Ball doesn't. Goblin Ball, right? I think well, yeah. there's some yeah. We'll go with Goblin Ball. we'll go with that. That'll be fine. Yeah. we'll go with Goblin Ball. I'm not sure about that. You know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. 2D editor is going to be Palette Pro 2 as per usual. The audio tool will be Harmony 3 as per usual. We are going to be doing 3D graphics, so we do need to get a 3D editor in here, which unfortunately is, oh no, it's going to be Voxel 5. Totally forgot that existed. I've kind of stopped keeping up with it. And then operating systems will be, I guess we'll do top 5, which does include Doors Professional Edition. But then we're also going to do NOS, NerdOS, and Doors, because we do have some active users on all of those, which gives us about 3 million potential consumers. If we had more recognition in this space, I would be inclined to do something like, oh, should we do multiplayer? We could, you know what? For the first Goblin Ball, we're not going to do multiplayer, which might be a really bad idea, but I'm going to I'm going to try and get this thing developed quickly because I feel like we've been doing Gungeon and City Sim forever. So we'll try and make this one a little bit quicker. In terms of what we're looking for in terms of features, we can look at the competition. We can analyze the market. They really want gameplay, which is kind of amazing. Okay. So, I mean, physics, I think, is going to be a big one, right? People want physics in their sports games. They probably, I'm not giving them VR. I don't think we need that. We'll give them a bit of adaptive music because that could be kind of fun. A little bit of recorded dialogue. Maybe they don't really care for it. Man, we'll give them mod support, I guess. Approximately 2 years is kind of wild. We'll give them, I'm not giving them an open world in a sports game. That seems a bit silly. We'll give them customizable characters. We'll give them, I'm not doing a branching story. We'll do an advanced HUD. And that gives us pretty much 100% plus some extra interest there. We could take out the adaptive music to bring that down, which I would be fine with doing. We could technically take out the customizable characters, which I think I'm going to do as well to try and make this thing. I want this out super, super quickly. The only downside to stripping out all these features is that the framework is not going to have a lot in it, which means we might want to do other frameworks a little bit later on. But we still have 100% expected interest with 13 wasted. We have approximately 2 years in pretty much black text. So that is going to be approximately 2 years as opposed to closer to 3. So this should be a really, really quick turnaround relatively compared to some of the other things that we're doing. So I think I'm okay with that. Although I'm really tempted to do the multiplayer thing. You know what? Remove all of these operating systems. Just throw multiplayer in there. It's not an MMO, which is fine. And then in terms of supported operating systems, sort by active users, what can we not do in here? So we can't do NerdOS. NerdOS doesn't do multiplayer. That's honestly okay. This is still approximately 2 years. Let's see what else we could take out of here. So let me again remove these because I want to bring that development time way, way down. So let's do Sentinel X2 and the latest Spectrum OS. Let's do Doors, Professional Edition, and let's do NOS. So we're going to do 4 operating systems. It's still approximately 2 years, but I think it's probably just about approximately 2 years. That should be fine. It's less than 2 million potential consumers, but we can port this after the fact, and I think I'm okay with that. So this will be good. This will work out. We have so much focus on gameplay right now, which is kind of wild. We could auto balance this if we wanted to. We're just going to go for what the market wants, which is gameplay, gameplay, gameplay. So that should be all right. And then the teams working on this will be none and none because we're going to hire a team that can work on this for us. We don't even need a big team to do this. We need 5 designers, 8 programmers, 2 artists. That's pretty solid. So let's throw this out to development. Obviously, nothing's going to happen for the time being, but what we can do now is go ahead and start figuring out what the kind of team needs to be. So again, looking at this, we can keep this the details over on the right. We can go to HR management here for the dev team. And we want 5 designers. We want 8 programmers, 2 artists. So we already have that set up. And in terms of specializations, we have everything except for hardware, which is completely fine. So this is about perfect. I think I'm okay with this. So 5 and 8 is 12. So 14 people, 15 plus a leader. When you include the leader, that is. This place has room for 13 people. This has room for 16 people. So I think what we'll do is aim for the 16. We'll put the leader down. In fact, you know what? Maybe the leader could stay up here. So we'll go for like 1 extra artist, I guess, or maybe 1 extra designer for this project. So instead of 5, we'll go for 6, and that should bring us to 15 people in total, plus a leader is 16. So yeah, the leader for this team, I think, can just stay with the team. I think that's probably all right to do. So we'll just put them in that office. What we will have to do is go through all of these spaces and set them all up as CEO offices. That way we don't have people just randomly hanging out in here. So we'll put the CEO in all of those spaces just to make sure that we don't have people in spaces that they shouldn't be, including this one right here. And that should keep things nice and neat for us. I've also put them in the wrong office, is what I've done. I put them over here instead of over here. You know what? We can fix that. And so now I think what we'll do is get a leader that can also do some design stuff. We do want automation because this will be automated at some point in the not too distant future. And for skills, we have Isidro Thompson, who is pretty solid, all things considered. I think we're going to go for you. We are going to put you into our sports dev team. We'll get you hired. He does look like the kind of guy that will be into sports, doesn't he? Like, look at him. Look, just down here. Let's look at your details. Like, look, that mustache. That's like a high school football team's coach, right? That's like he's a gentle, like he's stubborn and fierce when he wants to be, but he's also typically like really supportive. Hey, how you doing there, champ? You're doing good work out there. Just keep it up, Buster. Don't make me come over there, okay? You just keep doing what you're doing. I'll stay over here on the sidelines. I'll be cheering you on the whole time, okay? Just you stay over there. I'll whoop some ass if I have to. Don't think I've ever don't know what that was. Yeah. I think that's who he is. Yeah. that's him. Let's change his role. He can do both of these as secondary. We'll get that team filled up hopefully nice and quickly. There we go. That's what I want to see. We have everybody on that team. Let's go assign them to the Goblin Ball project. Hey, when I'm not developing video games about sports, I'm out there coaching sports, don't you know? Oh man. Oh, I love this game. I have so much fun. I have so much fun with Software Inc., I swear. Okay. Let me just tidy up the paths here a little bit. This is usually a nightmare to get these paths to actually work the way you would want to, but I think the trick that I've discovered is doing it in sections like this. So we want to go down and back like that, and then we want to come over to this spot into here, and we just do this last little, I can't get that voice out of my head. all I can hear, don't you know? Wow. That's great. Oh yeah, we're gonna need to put some stuff into these spaces here. We'll do that at some point here today, but I think for now, I kind of want to see this team come in here. And I really want to see how they do with the development of Goblin Ball. I want to see if they can do it well, you know? That's the hope, is that they can do good things. They have year-round vacations, which is great news. They have 17 people in that team with 16 chairs. That's not ideal. That's going to be problematic. How have we done this? So, it's because 8 and 8. Yeah, that makes sense. I figured it out. We need to get rid of one of the designers on that team is what we're going to need to do, unfortunately. So do we have too many people in the sim dev team as well? That's a possibility, I think. So in here, there are no, we're good. There are leaders downstairs, I think. Yeah. Okay. We're fine on that. We need to go to the sports team then, and we need to get rid of somebody. We need to get rid of one of the designers. We're going to go for, I don't know, who in here can I get rid of? We'll get rid of Millard. We'll get rid of Millard. You know, I'm feeling like Millard is the one that we can get rid of there. I don't know if that's an unlawful termination or anything like that, but we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that works out. They are at work now, which is fantastic, and Goblin Ball is coming along. We might want to put the networking team on this just to help them out a little bit, just to see if we can get that going that little bit faster. The marketing for Coin Keepers is well on its way, and people in Marketing 1 are complaining about noise. You know what? They'll be fine. Now, in other news, in historic Nerdrosoft news, Dungeons Eternal is now our most profitable software that we have ever released. It has now passed Dungeons 3, which is just incredible news. We're actually doing pretty well with NOS as well. It just did 12.6 million in the past day. So we are now over $1 billion, which is kind of wild. If we look at the worth here, we are worth 1.1 billion. We are worth almost double the next most valuable company. And in terms of bank balances, we have considerably more. So as is tradition, Nerdrosoft basically takes over the world. That's good. Looking at our subsidiary, still aiming for December of 2008 for Harmony 4, which is, I'm really curious about that one. I'm really, really curious to see if they can make Harmony 4 something good. I really hope they can, you know? That's kind of the thing. I really hope they can do something amazing with Harmony 4. I'd be really pleased if the subsidiary just sort of chugs along and does its thing with that. I'll be kind of disappointed if it sucks. I mean, it probably will. It's a completely new team. It's being automated. It's automated more so than anything else that we've done, so it's probably gonna suck, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, the press release for CoinKeepers is out now. So looking at CoinKeepers, there's over 1 million people following it. We've been nominated for all categories. Best employer is naturally going to be moi. Best product, what is it? Okay, I don't like that, but all right. Best designer is me, and most profitable product better not be Guardian. What do you mean? Wait, it was the last one? Oh my God. Okay, so the Guardian franchise is routinely getting awards. I don't love that. I don't I don't love that the Guardian franchise is sort of consistently doing work, you know? That's don't necessarily appreciate that, but it's fine. It's okay. We'll not worry too much about it. Anyway, let's see if we can do some kind of little office down here. I'm not really too sure what it's necessarily going to look like. I do kind of think it could be funny to do a security desk at the front instead of a typical reception desk. I know that's kind of dumb looking, but I think it could be kind of just fun, because this is going to be I want to say it's going to be a research thing. Maybe research and accounting could go in these spaces, because my accounting team is struggling a little bit with just how much money they have to deal with now. But my thinking for this would be some modern desks, and then we do, I guess, just a bunch of them would be my thinking here. So we'll do one. We can do a nice modern computer here. We can do the ergonomic chair as per usual. And then we'll have to obviously sort of change some colors and all this stuff. So let's start with the room. I think the interior, we have two interior options, which is sort of the dark shade there and the lighter shade there. I think we do blue. I do kind of like the idea of keeping the stripes. I think the stripes are kind of fun. I think we go maybe a little more subtle on some of them. I kind of like that. It's sort of a bluish, purpley, lilac-y, lavendery thing. I think that's fine. And then the floor can be a little bit more towards red, I think. Just a little bit more warmth in that floor with a little bit of a lighter thing. I want to say there is pretty good. It's very subtly different, but I think that's all right. We can go to this door and maybe change it to sort of match the floor. Again, just to be a little bit more uniform with some of what we got going on. And I want to say the windows as well, even though we don't do too much to customize the windows. I think we can go and do a little something like this, just so it all kind of comes together. I want to say these tables are going to be the same, although that table really does look like plastic, doesn't it? Maybe we swap the tables out for something else. Let's have a look here. We have the standing one. We have the serving. Can I put a computer on a serving table? No. I really, for a second there, I kind of hoped I could. We'll do this, which I guess is fine. I think we'll just put this in the middle, which I guess is fine. And then color-wise, we'll do this. We can maybe do something with the chair where the seats are going to be... I feel like this is a commercial place, so the chairs in here, I almost want to say shouldn't be these ergonomic ones. It could just be the executive chairs, which even that's a little... Oh man, do I really want to Do I want to roleplay this to this extent where I'm just doing generic office chairs for this team? I think we'll try this, but it might backfire is my thinking here. This might end up being a terrible idea because what might happen is the teams that work in these spaces might be deeply unhappy about what I'm doing, but we will try it. Now, I do think we'll need to do a lot of room dividers in here just to make it so that you can't necessarily see into the back of the place from the street, and this might also help with noise. I'm not entirely convinced by these two desks right there. I think those kind of are better not being there. And that does give us 8 desks in here, which I think is what we needed for the networking research. So I want to say that this is probably actually going to be our networking research team, which again might be an odd decision, but we're gonna try this is what we're gonna do. It's not technically gonna be a shop, basically. It is, I mean, it's, none of them are technically shops. I don't know what I'm talking about. What I mean is it's not gonna look like your typical shop. I think it's gonna look a little bit more like, it kind of looks like a real estate thing. Like you would go in and be like, oh, I saw this thing in the window for this house and can I like talk to you about it? And they're like, yeah, pull up a chair. They just don't have chairs in here, I guess. So what we can do is give them some couches. I know this one isn't as comfortable as some of the others, and I would hate sitting in those because you're just sitting and looking out the window, but we can do something like this, I guess, and have those be some nice little seating areas. I think in terms of color, we'll go for blue, but we'll go much darker because I don't think it would match perfectly. It's not bespoke. It's definitely not going to be bespoke. And then for this, I want to say the table can be, can I get like, I can go for that. And then the chair can also be like a sort of blue, but again, it doesn't match perfectly, which is completely fine by me. Okay, so slight change of plan with this. There are now 9 desks because I realize this team is going to need some kind of leader on it. We also have some security outside because this was originally assigned as row house 1 in its room group. It is now row house 3, which means we're going to need to go into our staff and we're going to need, I want to say 3 security guards at all times with this. There's only 2 on the other ones. So we want to go through and basically say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them. They are going to be assigned to row house 3, which is what this is. And then we have this middle group come in at 4 p.m. We have this group come in at 12 a.m. and that should give us security around the clock. And the reason I've done 3 instead of 2 is because we have this little desk in here, which I want someone sitting at. So that's going to be for security. Now, when it comes to the team that's going to be in here, we do have a networking team. So I'm going to copy that team. We're going to do network research is what we're going to do for this team. And they're going to be just a bit of a darker blue when compared to the other one because they're going to be right next to each other. If we look at HR management, though, we don't need programmers. We need none of those. We're going to need 8 designers, all specialized in network. And I'm going to go for high salaries just in the off chance that we do get some, well, we need level 3 network designers to make this happen. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. We're not really going to be doing secondary roles, but they can kind of have them anyway, I suppose. And then we just need a team leader. And I actually want to check just before I do this. If I want to research network 2005 requires 8 level 3 network designers. So that is what we're looking for here. That's why we're doing this. So if we go into hire employees, lead design is fine. We can't automate research, so it doesn't really matter too much what we have in here. So we'll take automation out. We could do socialization as a thing just to kind of boost the team's cohesion. And we have Rita, who is decent enough with networking. You're not that good at it, but that's probably fine, I want to say. So yeah, Rita, Curtis, you can hold meetings. That might not be the best thing in the world for us if you take a bunch of time to do meetings, but we're going to hire you anyway. We are going to go to our network research team. We're going to change the roles so that you are designer as secondary, leader as primary. You will hopefully start hiring people is what you're going to do. And if we look at this team, Network does have 3 level 3 designers, which is fantastic news. So in theory, even though I suspect they're not going to do this, we will research this. We will throw it at the Network research team, and we'll see if they're able to do it. We'll hope that they can do it. We'll hope they can figure it out. They'll be coming in during the day to work in this space. We'll hopefully have some security coming in here during the day to work in this space. And I think it'll look kind of cool, all things considered. When we have, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. The security guard behind the desk is absolutely perfect. The room, oh wow, that room gets filthier by the day. The room isn't the cleanest, but we have someone going through and sorting that out. And yeah, this will be our little networking space. We have some couriers chilling in here as well. So it just looks like an interesting little space is what it is. Anyway, it seems that Coin Keepers is ready to develop, so we're going to go ahead and do that. We will start putting together another press release as well. It does have 1.2 million followers, which is great. It's not necessarily gone up as quickly as previous things have. It might increase in popularity as we get closer to release, and also once we get a press build out there, I'm sure that's going to do some good things for us as well. But it is coming together so quickly. Presumably because it's a relatively simple thing, right? I realize that all of our other expansions have typically had a lot of 3D assets and stuff as well. So this one being largely 2D and audio, kind of like how the old ones were, might be a problem. We also have some complaints from you. I don't know why there will be other people in your offices. That's an odd one. You're also at home, so it doesn't really matter too much. Oh, I realize it's probably because this hasn't actually been assigned to our network research team. That's probably why we're having that problem. They're not actually going into this space to work. They're going to any other available desk wherever that might happen to be. So that's not ideal. It looks like they've kind of figured it out now, which is good. That'll be why people were complaining about other teams being in their offices, for sure. But yeah, they can figure that out, I guess. Do we have anyone using the rooftop stuff? We do have people going back and forth. That's for sure, which is a choice, I guess. It does look cool. I really do like the little row of buildings here. I think one more short one with a park kind of thing on top of it would be cool. We'll have a little bit of extra space down here at the bottom for something, but I like these. I wasn't really planning on copying and pasting them exactly, but I think there's only so much I can do to make these look interesting. I think just having sort of the same buildings staggered is fine. We've got to the point of the game where, look, we've beat the game, just to be clear. We have absolutely beat the game. There's really no challenge left at this point. Let's be completely clear. I have some plans. I have some things I want to do. I want to get to a point where we just jumped from 1.5 to 3.8 million followers for Coin Keepers. Let's start printing this. We're going to aim for 3 million copies is what we're going to do, and see how that goes. We have a good amount of time to make that happen. But yeah, my point with Software Inc. is, we've beat the game, right? We have absolutely beat the game. We've done everything, essentially everything that there is to do. We haven't necessarily released something from a subsidiary. We haven't really bought gold and silver and bronze, and there are other things that we can make and release. But as far as success goes, I think the only way that we're going to fail at this point is if we just cancel marketing and everything, sell everything, and even then we have $1.1 billion, so it would take a while for us to go out of business. But I do really want to try getting to 2015 and sort of going on that City Skylines type journey. I want to try and put out a city builder that is successful, and we kind of follow the release schedule of DLCs that City Skylines had. I love that as an idea. I'm also really curious to see how successful Dungeons Eternal can be long term. I've kind of got to the point where I'm setting myself these different little challenges because there is no monetary challenge anymore. But this is Software Inc. This is just what the game is. Almost every single season, every single series of Software Inc. that we have done on the channel has pretty much gone the same way. So a little something that I'm noticing with the network research team is that because they can have meetings, they are frequently leaving this building and heading into the main building to have their meetings. They're going to the, you know, the evil boardroom, the Legion of Doom over here. So I think what I might do, and I don't know if this is a good idea, because we might need all of this space for the different support teams that go into the sports games once we start getting some projects going with that. But I think what I might do is select this room right here, get rid of all of the furniture, and turn this into a meeting room. So we'll just not have any teams assigned to it, but we will say that this is just going to be a meeting room for anybody. This might backfire because we might have teams from the main building coming over here as well. But I want to say that we can sort of do this. And I'm also thinking that this desk is potentially going to get rotated just a little bit and then put, I want to say there. I think it's probably fine. It's a bit, it's going to be a little bit narrow on the sides, but that should be all right. I also kind of want to see if I can get away with using these chairs. I mean, are they more comfortable or less? I mean, they're not particularly comfortable, but that's the plastic one. The dining chairs are much more comfortable. The ergonomics are bad, but if they're not using them for particularly long, that should be fine. Is this a good meeting chair? It probably isn't, right? We probably do want to just use the ergonomic ones. So we'll just put a bunch of these ergonomic chairs around this way. Can I then do some TVs back here and not have them blocked? No, okay, the chairs are going to be blocking the TVs. That's fine. I think what we do then is make the desk a little bit slimmer. I think we move it. I want to grab everything. I want to grab all of the furniture, all of the tables in this room. I want to move them, and I want to do something like that. Should be fine. I think that looks all right. Then the TV can go here. We can do a TV here. And if we didn't have that window, we could do a TV there as well. I don't think we're going to get rid of the window, although it would make the front of the building a little bit more unique, but no, we're going to keep the window for now is what we're going to do. If I need rid of it, we'll get rid of it. But for now, I think it's fine. I will say, I did see a mod, because I've seen a bunch of people talking about different furniture mods and how I should play around with different furniture mods. I did see one that adds like angular tables that would fill up these spaces against these walls perfectly. I haven't installed any furniture mods for this series, and I'll be honest, I'm probably not going to, because we've been talking, you know, like I said at the start of the episode, we're going to be doing more Software Inc. later in the year, and it will be modded. So that will probably have some furniture mods. I will try my best to not have that entire series be me just spending hours upon hours decorating different rooms and things like that, but I can't promise anything. I'll focus on, you know, making a good company, but there might also be some considerable focus on trying to make a really good looking company as well. I'm also thinking I might go a little bit modern. I've been thinking about it a lot. I'll be honest. I might go a little bit modern with the builds on another series. I kind of like the idea that maybe, you know, we don't necessarily do these sort of old kind of row house looking things in this old converted bank. I'd like to see, you know, what would Nerdrosoft, or it might not even be it probably will be Nerdrosoft, but it could be a different company. What would insert company here do with their many millions of dollars? Would they buy out an old building, or would they perhaps invest in a new building that has lots of glass and lots of accent walls and things like that? It could be really fun, and I'm kind of looking forward to it, but we'll see. A lot can change in a handful of months. This is my idea right now. It might not be my idea in however many months' time. And there we go. I think this is a pretty good looking little meeting room. It's still got some evil vibes to it, but that's kind of been consistent across our meeting rooms so far with this version of Nerdrosoft, so we'll not worry too much about that. I think it's probably fine. It's probably okay. Anyway, it is about to be day 2 of October 2005, which means coin keepers will need to go out. There's 5.5 million followers. We also have Palette Pro 3 in its alpha. City Sim is in alpha as well. We are halfway through researching Network 2005, which I think means we're not going to research it. I don't remember if it carries over into the next year or if we have to start again, but we'll see what happens. When it comes to coin keepers, we did manage to print almost the 3 million copies that we wanted. So we are going to be looking to, I guess, order a bunch of those. I'm going to put that back down to 250,000 though. I don't really think we need to worry too much about printing all of them. I think we are just going to have to order them. Unfortunately, that's just the way of it. But looking elsewhere, looking at our releases, NOS has actually made a profit, which is incredible news. We are above $333 million from Dungeons Eternal with 4.5 million active users, which again is just ridiculous. Profits across the board have been pretty consistent. It's just been increasing pretty much all the time, which I absolutely adore. I really do. We've done 75.6 million units, which I think is counting monthly subscribers, right? It's how many times have people paid for this, is what's going on. Now, Dark Gnome Empire is not selling anymore. We'll take that out of the marketing rotation. We're looking okay here. We do want to do coin keepers. So let's go ahead and release this. I'm assuming 5s across the board. Perfect. We will do 2.5 million copies ordered, and we'll do 50,000 in marketing budget, as is tradition. So we have managed to get another expansion out for this thing on time. If we look at our add-ons now, that is March, October, which means we probably do want to start working on another one. Oh man. So where have we got to with the Eternal stories so far? So the story of Dungeons Eternal was the whole oh man. I'm ever so slightly there's a lot. Man, if you've not been keeping up with your Dungeons lore, you've been missing out. At the end of Dungeons 3, the Guardians of Eternity come down and take everyone into the Land of Eternity, which is the setting for Dungeons Eternal. So that's where the MMO takes place, and the MMO storyline, I don't really know too much about what that would necessarily be. But the first expansion, Guardians of the Past, brings back characters from the first 3 Dungeons games, including some that are dead, so they come back as like ghostly spirits. Return of the Goblin King brings back the main because the Guardians of the Past coming through opened the door for villains from the past to come back. So the Goblin King returns from Dungeons 2. So the Goblin King was the villain of Dungeons 2 and tries to take over Eternity or destroy it in the process. And then the third expansion was Dark Gnome Empire, which brought back the villains of Dungeons the original. Similar story, the gnomes are here and they're trying to take everything over. Coin Keepers is a bit of a different thing. It's not a story expansion, it's more of a mechanical expansion. This is where we're introducing something like the Grand Exchange. So I guess our 5th expansion could be it could be a return to what the first expansion was, which was Spellcasters. So the original Dungeons expansion. How do I remember all of this, man? I remember this kind of thing better than I remember stuff that actually matters in my life. I barely remember my own birthday, but I can remember Dungeons lore. I don't know what that says about me, but I don't think it's good. Anyway, my thinking for another expansion is we go back and we touch on Spellcaster. So we start working on this, and I want to put that, I want to put a spotlight on that space. My idea is that magic is under threat, right? So we introduced magic and spellcasters and wizardry and all that kind of stuff with that very first Dungeons expansion. This one puts magic under threat. So this is like, if the heroes don't rise up and fight against whatever it is, magic will be erased from eternity, which sounds really dramatic. So something what would you call it? You know what? It's a new storyline. We'll figure it out in a second. It's a new storyline. We'll have sprites, dialogue, map stuff, boss fights, obviously, some spellcaster related character customization, some new music, and we're going to go with that. We're not going to go too crazy with it because I don't need it to take forever to make this. That's something I need to be careful with, is that we don't take too long to do this. So we've got everything set up here. It's going to be another $20. The teams working on this can be our, the core team, of course. We can do me. We can do the 3D team because that's going to be necessary. And then in here is all of the same teams working on it. I just need a name is what I need. So we did Spellcaster to introduce it. We did Cataclysm. We've done Dimensions. What would be like a threat to magic? Oh, I've got it. Extinction is my thinking for this one. So magic is going to go extinct from the world of eternity if our heroes can't do something about it. I think that's a really, really solid title. It's a really great subtitle. I mean, the expansion would be Dungeons Eternal Extinction. It's a really, really punchy kind of thing. It really sells what we're doing here. Again, none of this matters in Software Inc. None of this matters, but I'm having fun with it. So that's why we're doing this. So we'll go ahead and pretty much start working on that immediately, which is good. That'll be done in no time at all, I'm relatively sure. So that's going to be fantastic news for us. I guess the next thing we need to do is see how Coin Keepers does in terms of money. So Dungeons Eternal, still 11.6 million. We're still getting multiple millions from NOS. Coin Keepers, we can finish its marketing soon enough. Gungeon is almost ready for alpha as well, which is just fantastic news. I'm just really curious. We had like 5 million followers on Coin Keepers. So we're currently at just shy of minus $50,000. When this ticks over, we're going to be looking at a grand total of $64.8 million from that expansion. That's ridiculous. Oh, that's just so silly. That is so silly. So that was 4.3 million units sold with 1.5 million left in stock. That is just, that's just silly. That's so ridiculous. I love it. I also love that NOS is getting up there. Like in terms of profitability, it's really starting to climb, which does make me really, really happy. Yeah, man, that's ridiculous. That's really, really just silly amounts of money, and I'm so okay with it. Oh, this is interesting. Guardian 11 has gone out. There's 2,000 copies in stock, which is nowhere near what I expected it would be, but I'm kind of curious to see if Guardian 11 ends up making money. The last one just did almost 5 million in a day. It's at 64 million. It is the most profitable Guardian that we've had so far, with Guardian 9 closely behind. It made more money, both 9 and 10, than NerdOS ever made, which is certainly something. Yeah, that's fair enough. We should, now that I think about it, probably update NOS. That's probably not a bad idea to get everything sort of up to modern standards. There's a lot of bugs to fix as well, so put the phone guys on that. We should do the same with Doors Professional Edition. There's a few updates available for that as well. So we'll put the computer team on it, because I don't think either of those teams are doing anything right now. So getting those updates out the door is probably going to be a great thing for us. Coin Keepers just did another 3.2 million, which is ridiculous. Looking at Guardian 11, it broke even pretty much instantly, which is fantastic news. And Coin Keepers is now the second most profitable expansion that we've ever released. I expect it will become the most profitable. It has sold 4.8 million units, which is now the best-selling expansion that we've ever had. So that's just ridiculous. Is what that is. That's just, I don't know. We're up to 4.9 million active users on Dungeons Eternal. Looking at software across the board, Dungeons Eternal is the most popular by a considerable margin piece of software in the world right now. Looking at net units sold, now this is cheating. This feels like cheating. Technically, On a technicality, it is the most popular piece of software that's ever existed. It has made the most money from add-ons in history. And in terms of reviews, Palette Pro 2, actually, it's a lot of my stuff is the best reviewed stuff up here, which I absolutely adore as well. That is just ridiculous, is what that is. That's really, I love it. I love it so much. I love this run. This run of Software Inc. has been so ridiculous.